Are you ready for the rough?
Hey guys, what's going on here? It is Dirty Snipers or Dirty Games or Dirty G here, back with another video, but on the E-League Major Atlanta 2017 predictions for the first round matches. So, as you can see here, I don't usually do this because I think it's a waste of money, just for a trophy, but I'll do it this year just because I think it's a little bit easier and you don't have to buy as many stickers. So we're gonna start off with the group stage. There is no fantasy team like they had at the last few tournaments where you pick a player. I kind of like that. I didn't really like that too much because some players can have off days. So with this system, you have to pick the 8 teams that would advance. You get 3 points per pick, pretty big. You need 75 points to win. If you get all these picks correct, you would already have a bronze, which is pretty impressive. I believe if you like do groups, hold on, and then the pick 'em here, I don't know, I think it's like 10 points for each one correct or something like that I was reading. So the teams that are participating are SK, Team Liquid, Virtus.pro, Fnatic, Astralis, Flipside, Navi, Gambit. Those are the legends from the last major. And then the people who qualified are Godsent, FaZe, Melsports, Optic, North, Envious, G2, and Hellraisers. So I'm going to start off by making, when you're starting to predict stuff, you got to look at the players, the map pool that they have as a team, and who are they going against, and how have they played recently. So I'm going to be going through all those factors right now. So the first matchup of the tournament is Gambit versus North. Now, by the way, North is Dignitas, ex-Dignitas, and they got signed by North, Copenhagen North, I believe, is the name. That's the Dignitas squad with MSL, Rubino, KGB, Magix, and Config. They're gonna be playing versus Gambit, which is Adren, Zeus, Doja, Mu, and Hobbit. Now, Doja is an old-time player. Zeus also, Adren does really well apparently against top-tier opponents. Mo, he doesn't have a history of doing well against top-tier opponents, and Hobbit is a brand new, I think he's like 18, 19, and he looked really sick at DreamHack Winter, but that was like a month to 2 months ago, but he looked really good. And I just think North is going to take that match, but we're not going to go by matches, we're going to go by who's going to make it out group stage, and I definitely think North is one of the best since they did win Epic Center, and they have done really well by placing like really well into tournaments. So we'll buy one of these, authorize, boom, let's put it in, let's put the North team in. Do I think they'll go 3-0? I'm gonna do that last, so I'm gonna do my predictions first. The next matchup is Fnatic versus G2. I don't really think this, like, we have to decide later because it's like one of those things where it's like 25%, 25% for that team, whatever. But another team I'm going to explain why I think they'll make it is SK. The reason why I do think SK Gaming is going to be playing it, could actually do well in this, make playoffs, is because Fallen, he's been unreal. Cold Zero is an unreal player. They got Fur, Taco, and then they recently picked up the Portuguese player Fox because FNX, some problems over there. I don't really think that SK will make it too far in the playoffs, but I think they'll definitely make the playoff spot. So I'm gonna definitely put them in. I think they deserve it. Definitely deserve they're still a really good team. They're probably gonna fix up a lot of stuff before the major too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. The next matchup is Virtus.pro versus Optic. So if we look at their history, Virtus.pro and Optic, I don't think they ever faced. They did. Sorry, ESL won New York on Cobblestone. They're both 2-2 in record. That was for the playoff spot. And this is the starting match. And this is the E-League Season 1 champions versus the E-League Season 2 champions. Now, when you look at Virtus.pro, they recently attended WESG, which is the World Esports Championship, whatever. They got beat by Kingwin, but it was like a lot of tier 2 teams. They came third, so they're still looking good. I will still put them as another team that will go through, just because they haven't really they've won a major, but that was 2014 also. But they really haven't um, not made playoffs in a major. So I still think they'll still go through. Still considered to me one of the best teams. Is coming to the major. I don't think they'll go 3-0 because Virtus Pro and Optic, I think that's a 50-50. I think like it's more 60-40 for Virtus Pro, but it's still a really close match. And I wouldn't put one of those teams as a 3-0 team because that's pretty risky to me. I wouldn't put also North or Gambit as a 3-0 team just because Gambit is a strong team, but I think North will maybe underestimate them a little bit. And then same with the SK versus Hellraisers. SK and Hellraisers have the same map pool, so I wouldn't put them as a 3-0 team that will go 3-0. But it still can happen. Remember, it still can happen. It's just my predictions. This is my analysis. This is what I'm giving you guys. And I do think Optic will make it just because they've been on such a good run since they picked up this Tarek. They have Stanslaw, Mixwell, Naf, and Rush, and I think they've looked dominant over the last like they dominated teams. Like they dominated Nip on Overpass. That's pretty impressive. Because Nip is a pretty good team. They didn't even make it to this year's major. You just imagine if they would have. Like this would be so hard to predict. But I'm definitely considering Optic to making the playoffs. I don't think they'll be a 3-0 team, but I still think they'll advance out of the group stage. So let's put those guys in. Optic Gaming right here. The next matchup is Navi versus Mel Sports. Now, we haven't seen Navi since like IEM Oakland. So this is like 3 months ago. And we don't know what they're up to, but like their roster's insane. They have Edward, Guardian, Seized, Flamey, and Simple. By far, they have like 3 of the top 20 players in the world on that team. And the Varsity Mel Sports, a team where it's like they're really up and down, but if Nico shows up, if Flo shows up, if Chris J shows up, they definitely have a chance. But I don't consider Mel Sports a good enough team to win 3 matches in group stage. They're versus Navi. I think Navi will get out of playoffs, but it's one of those things where it's like a toss-up because I think they will perform well. They usually do perform well in majors, so I'm going to put them as another pick. As you saw in like the last 3 majors, they made playoffs and 2 of them were finals. Like it's insane. And then there's a Liquid versus Envy. I don't think either of these teams are going to make it out. Just because like it's a Liquid, you don't know what's going to happen with Liquid because they haven't been performing well at events, but also they brought a new coach. If we don't remember, there's like a Montreal tournament. What was it called? The Canadian event, Northern Arena. I don't even think they made out groups. I think they came like 7th or 5 and 6th, and they brought in Zeus, the old SK coach and the old Immortal player, ex-Immortal player. So they can bring something to the table, but I do not think they'll be out of groups. So let's go to now Astralis versus Godsend. Right now, Astralis are looking amazing. They got 2nd at Eleague Season 2. I think they choked a little bit against Optic. And then they won ECS versus Optic in the finals too. So kind of revenge, but Device looked insane. And I haven't seen a Device like look that good in a while. And I think they'll definitely get out of groups. I think that's like what your safest fix to do is Astralis. But remember, in the first map, they're versus Godsend. Now Godsend, they have upset potential, right? We saw like even Thor did not predict Godsend to go through into the E-League Major, but they did. They were the team that was 3-0. And then okay, the last matchup of the day is FaZe versus Flipside. These 2 teams, they're CIS and then there's one European. FaZe is European, but FaZe have shown a lot of potential lately. They made 2 semifinals against. They beat in the E-League Season 2 Virtus Pro in the quarterfinals. That's pretty impressive. And the last 2 times they played the Swiss system phase, they went 3-0 each. Both of the qualifiers for Cologne and the E-League Major. So I'm predicting them to go 3-0 actually. Now you're probably wondering why. Well, they're like one of the teams that are best at best of ones, if you noticed. And also, Kerrigan is one of the best tactical leaders in the game. If you don't know FaZe, they're Kerrigan, you have Kiyoshima, you have Alu, you have AZ, and Rain. Like, to be honest with you, AZ is like one of the best Danish players. Rain, best Norwegian player by far. Alu, best Finnish player. Kerrigan, I think is like one of the most best tactically, just in the game. Kyo, really good aimer. Just I don't think a lot of people like him. Just because of the envy situation. But he's still a very good aimer. Like this team can aim, and with the tactics, I think they can actually go 3-0. Now, these two picks are like the hardest. I'm gonna tell you why. Even all these picks for the teams is really hard. But I do think the team that's gonna go 0-3, to me is the safest bet is a CIS team. So Gambit, I don't think will go 0-3. Like I think Envy can win against any of these teams. But like can Gambit, like I don't think Gambit can win against all the teams, but I think Envy, G2, Godsend, I think Fnatic can, but like the teams that can't, I think like I look at flip side here, cause I know they got like they're like in the finals or whatever of DreamHack Lipsing or whatever. It's a tier 2 tournament. They should win it. I don't think Hellraisers will go last because they did show some really good talent there. I think Dead Fox is a really good player. He's gonna be an upcoming player this year. I think he's a little bit underrated. Mouse Sports won't go 0-3 because they have like Nico, and I think they'll at least win one game. Fnatic, there's that insane like triple like those three players, Dennis, Crims, and Olaf. One of them is gonna go like there's not one of them that's gonna be going missing in a game, especially during a major. I don't think so. Gambit, the new roster, I think they're gonna look sharp. I don't think they're a team that go 0-3. G2 and Envy, I just don't. I think they'll at least win one game. Same with Godsend. Now, the thing is with Team Liquid, they're so unpredictable because they haven't played in 3 months. It's like the Navi thing. Like the last turn was I am Oakland. Like how can we know how well they're gonna do? So this is why I'm gonna pick Flipside. And plus, the Flipside roster, you gotta be careful. The reason why like it's not the best pick to pick is because like Flipside they've been improving well. They added a new player, Electronic, for Shara. Like Shara was absolute garbage. Like okay, he's obviously better than me, but like I still think he's not like the best player in the game. But Electronic is a really decent talent from Russia. I think he's getting better. They have World Edit, and if Markolov goes off and Waylander, that's a scary team. And they have Blade as a tactical leader, so you gotta expect tactics too there. So I'm gonna be discussing my last pick for who's gonna make it out of the group stage. Now I'm gonna do a process of elimination here. So I'll eliminate teams I don't think that will move on. I think Hellraisers, Mousesports, Gambit, and Team Liquid are not gonna move on. So I'll leave those with Fnatic, Godsend, G2, and Team Envious. Now, if we look at who versus them, G2 hasn't looked really hot lately. I remember they had a period of time where like it was like the middle of the season where they started performing well. I think everything started clicking. This is like you just got off a break. So I think the team that's gonna do the best when they're like out of this break. And by the way, WE Sega, Team Envious just won that. So they're gonna have a lot of confidence, and I don't know, like it's a possibility, but I don't think they'll make it, but it's definitely a possibility. Like I don't think G2 will. I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I really don't think G2 will, just because they haven't looked too sharp lately. Then the French Shuffle may disappoint them sort of. They didn't make it out of Eleague Season 2. They lost in the finals of North Arena 2016 Montreal to Optic. They made the playoffs of IEM Oakland, but I don't see any potential here. They bombed out of ESL New York 2016, but I just don't know about this roster. It's a chance, like, because there's like this whole like X Factor Shoxy is insane. I think he just plays insane the whole game. But you have these other players like Smith, who is not really the best. You have RPK, who's solid. Scream, Body, I think Body's actually a really underrated player. I think he's really good, really talented. But when you go against like Fnatic, they have this insane like lineup of just aimers. But I don't think they'll be tactically well. Like they have Olafmeister, Dennis, Crims, but we haven't seen Olafmeister at his peak lately. So I don't really think Fnatic will make it. Same with Godsend. If we look at Godsend lineup, I'm just gonna pull out my other screen here. Pronax, Flusha, Snyder, JW, and Lecro. They haven't looked too well online. They didn't qualify for G Las Vegas, so I'm not gonna put them through as a playoffs. I don't think Fnatic is gonna be tactically ready for this, and I think it's gonna go to G2 actually, because Envy, I think they have like potential, but I don't know. I don't consider them like a really top team. And that's is gonna do it for my predictions for day one of the group stage for E-League Major Atlanta 2017. I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you put down in the comments what you do like and what you think is wrong about my predictions, I would like to see them, because I will make another video probably right before in case if I do switch my predictions. But these are my predictions for now. I think I feel really confident in these teams that will make it through. The only one I'm a little bit shaky about is the Navi G2, but to me, like teams that I like go through most likely is the Charlotte, FaZe, Virtus Pro, North, SK. I think those are the safe ones. Even Optic, like Optic's like a team that's a hit and miss, but they've done well in the Swiss system. They went 3-1 in both qualifiers. I think this would be good. Flip side is definitely going to go 0-3. Well, I think they'll go 0-3 most likely. Um, but they have upside potential. So I hope you guys like this video. If you do, drop a like, sub for more, and I'll be doing every day of the E-League Major, doing this, the playoffs, if there's any more group stage after day one, because I don't know about that. And have a good day, guys. Peace.